Okay, good morning, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Solomon again. And today we are going to learn about the new letter. We're going to do R. And R says R, R. Make sure when you're saying the R sound, the R sound, that you don't say because that would be more of a middle R sound or an ending R sound, The beginning R sound is more of a R, like in run or rat. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Rat. Yeah, this is my little rat. Rat is part of a story that I tell about Bob and the cob and the rat. So let's work on our R. Here is our green R, and here is our R page. And we're going to do like we always do in class. We're going to twist up our glue stick and look at it. And we're going to put it at the top of the R and do a small line down and a small line up and a small curve. R says R. Small line down, small line up, small curve. R says R. R says R. Then we're going to take our glue stick and twist it down and look at it. It's down there. And then put our lid on so that we're using our glue stick properly. Then we're going to put our R on top. And remember that R starts at the top of the ceiling. And it's a small line down and a small line up and a little small curve. R says R. Trace it on the table and say it with me. R says R. Trace it in the carpet if you're sitting on the floor watching on in the living room. R says R. R says R, just like my friend Rat. And so here is our picture that we would put here. And tell me, boys and girls, what color is Rat? That's right, he's black. He has some green whiskers. He has a green beady shifty little eyeball and some ears and a big long skinny tail. Rat. So we would color him black and color his back a little brown. He has a little bit of brown and gray on his back. And you could do this on a piece of paper and just make your R says R and draw a picture of a rat. Now let's look over here at the board and let's talk about little Kimmy's story. A long time ago, my name was not Mrs. Solomon. My name was little Kimmy. And little Kimmy's mommy and daddy were building a house. And little Kimmy's mommy and daddy asked her, little Kimmy, what color would you like the carpet to be in our new house? And I said red, because all of our letters that I was learning in school were sitting on the red carpet. And so they made a red carpet in the little house. My red marker isn't showing up very good, but there it is, my red carpet. And then I went back to school and learned more about letters, and I learned about lowercase letters, and some of them start on the ceiling just like R does. And guess what? My mommy and daddy came to me and asked me what color did I want the walls and the ceiling in the little house to be. And I said blue, because that's where all of the small little lowercase letters start. And so they painted the walls and the ceiling blue. Not too long after that, my mommy needed a place in her little house to store the things she was not using. And so mommy and daddy put a room above the house. And that room is called the attic. And the attic is important because we store the things that we are not using in an attic. But guess what? We put capital letters in the attic because we don't use capital letters all the time. We use capital letters at the beginnings of names and the beginnings of sentences. And so then not too long after that, mommy and daddy needed a place for daddy to do his work at home. And so they built a place under the house called the basement. And that is where some of our letters put some of their parts to cope daddy down in the basement in his workshop. So let's talk about R. Where does R fit in our little house? Well, it starts on the ceiling, and we do a small line down and a small line up and a small curve. And R says R. And remember, this R is lowercase r. But we do need to know about capital R. Capital R starts at the top of the attic. And it's a big line down and a small curve and then a small line down. And capital R also says R. So this lowercase r looks like this. It looks different than capital R. And capital R starts in the attic, but lowercase r just starts right on the ceiling. It's a little bit smaller. Now we need to draw our rat. So here is our line that we draw our letters on, and let's say the word rat. Rat. R-A-T. Rat. R-A-T. Rat. R-A-T. Rat. R. Think in your brain. What letter says R? You're right. R. R says R. So we're going to put our R here. R. R. Rat. R-A. A. What letter says A? That's right. A says A. R-A. Rat. R-A. What letter says T? You're right. T says T. R-A-T. Rat. And then we would have a picture of our rat. First we need like his back. We'll draw his back. Then he has kind of a oval shaped head and a flat belly and a big long skinny tail. And he has ears and an eyeball and a nose with some whiskers. And he's probably got a mouth in there. There we go. And then over here, he's got his paw. And then he's got a front paw. And of course, there's two back paws that we can't see. But that looks pretty much like rat. So there